Good evening, my dear friends. What's up, y'all? It's Sunday, 15th of Feb. I hope you had a nice Valentine's Day. Hope you got to celebrate with your wife or your partner, whoever you are, wherever you are. I hope you're happy, healthy, and safe. Today is a wonderful Sunday, and I've been doing some research. The last couple of videos we talked about purchasing power. We talked about how it's very difficult to alienate Russia from the global energy market. Not just the energy market, it goes deeper, folks. And we're going to go deeper today. Look, if you find value in whatever I'm doing, kindly support me. You can get me a coffee. Coffee is expensive, and I like my coffee. So check the link, check the description. Your support is very appreciated, to be honest, really. So today, what I have in front of you, look, we will go a bit deeper into the Russian exports, right? Global exports, and let's see what they've been doing the last couple of years. So you have 23, 24 data. More or less, you have about 437 to 465 billion. Let me see if I can increase that. Russian global exports 20. Let me see if I can find a number for 2025. um yeah, 500. Despite sanctions, Russia maintained a 578.4 billion trade surplus in 2025, with mineral products leading to, wow. Okay, and you see there's some data, real data, right? This is Google. This is a summarization. There's a lot of sources here. You can go deeper into it. So you can find it for yourself. I'm just going through Google so that because there seem to be a lot of people out there who don't seem to know the basic information of certain countries. So they seem to, cherry pick data and wonder that the Russian economy is collapsing, this, that, and the third thing. But let's go deeper. So essentially, they have over a half a trillion in trade surplus. Okay, name other EU countries that actually have a major trade surplus. Um, you can count them in the number of hands. Not too many. Energy exports revenue fell significantly, with the average Urals price dropping to 65. Okay, fine, but they still have huge amounts of purchases from the Indians, Chinese, and other people. Right? Military exports. Okay, 15 billion. They used to be a bigger, supplier of military gear, but over the years, competition, American domination in these, and European too, um, domination in these sectors. They were focused more on themselves, I believe, the last many years. Trade partners, okay, agricultures, and then you have sanctions. Yeah, okay. So basically, if I look at it, there's key information, and I went back to the previous page, but I'm gonna also go deeper into. You see, you have mineral fuels and oils, you have precious stones and metals, roughly 31.6 billion, including gold. Okay, iron and steel, approximately 30 billion. Fertilizers, wood and grain. Oh, they're one of the world's largest suppliers of timber. You know this, right? China, the largest partner. India, major crude. Okay, okay, okay. We can see it's over a half a trillion, or close to a half a trillion in exports every year. Okay, and then you see, okay, how important is Russia for many things? Let's go deeper into agro exports, right? So I was looking this. I just googled on AI mode, and there, what do you see? Has undergone a massive transformation, reaching a 43.5 billion in 2023. As of early 2020, friendly, blah blah blah, which account for 90% of its total. 60 million tons of grains and legumes. Okay, oils and fats is a top three supplier of sunflower and rapeseed oils. Okay, fertilizers is the world's largest fertilizer exporter. It targets a 25% global market share by 2030, with 50% of current consumption coming from the BRICS nations. Okay, top five non-commodity export is frozen fish. Okay, go deeper, deeper. You see, over the last many years, they've been increasing trade with China, India. Okay, all right, flour milling. So basically, they're one of the world's largest suppliers of grain. MENA region, you see, countries like Egypt, Algeria, and Turkey remain critical buyers of Russian grain, including Saudi Arabia, by the way. They get a majority, huge amounts, maybe 50, 70, 80% of their grain comes from Russia. Okay. Russia is a cornerstone, is a breadbasket like Ukraine, much bigger. They have more black soils, and uh, they're essentially a key part of food security, global food security. Look at this, okay? Russian US fertilizer importance. Market dominance. Russia is the largest supplier of nitrogen fertilizers to the US, capturing 35% of the market in 2025. To remind you, this is a country that is hit with every sanction basically under the book, right? Has, I don't know, 18, 19, 21,000 sanctions. But why do the Americans still buy 5 billion worth of fertilizer from Russia? Because they're essential to food security. They have huge amounts of capacity. No other country has that capacity, okay? To build fertilizer plants, you need the right kind of materials, and you need huge amounts of investment. It could take decades to get the permitting in the European Union, in most countries, to build such huge projects. It can be done easily in China, India. India has a lot of fertilizer products as well. But keep in mind, they're 25, 30%. Look at this. Russian EU fertilizer imports. Russia was the second largest EU supplier in the late 2025, with 2024 imports having risen to over 30% of total EU imports, urea imports. For those who don't understand this, okay, and we have till 2026. I'm a European citizen, if you know this. We have till, there's a tariff. You're not supposed to do that. Increase levies designed to make them uncompetitive by 2028. Despite increased scrutiny, imports of Russian blah, 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 25% in 2023 to 33% in 24. Okay. Okay, you say, oh, it's not a lot. It's only 1.2 billion, but they're essential to your food security in European Union. Don't kid yourself. And if you stop buying from them, somebody else will, folks. That's the nature of trade. Trade moves very quickly. Okay, just because you want to be stupid and bury your head in the sand and say, I do not want Russian fertilizer. Okay, that 1 billion in fertilizer will go to India, to Brazil, to China, to the United States, because the United States has banned it. So they were like, okay, we will take it. I know that's not how we'll take this. We're from Texas. We're gonna send a container full of ships, and we're gonna import the Russian fertilizers. Thank you, European Union, for shooting yourself in the foot. That's what they're gonna do, folks. Okay, in South Carolina, Georgia, no, they need it. It's like without fertilizer, what do you think you will have for yields for many of these products? Oh, we like to believe that everything is organic, and we want sustainable growing, but you still need fertilizer for a lot of stuff that grows. Okay. Without which you will not be able to sustain the yields. And what do you think you're paying at the grocery store for all these things? Do you think you're going to have stable prices if you don't have access to fertilizers? Okay, we could say we can always buy them from European companies. Yeah, it's going to be much more expensive. Nothing in the EU is cheap. Nothing in the EU can be done cheaply. Okay, EU is an extremely expensive place to do business. Okay, there's licensing fees. There's all kinds of fees before you even start to produce, and your project can go down the drain. It could take decades. This is the same place, folks. In Brussels, they built a tram station. It took them like 40 years. A tram line to 50 years to build it. Okay, it's not. People don't understand how long such projects take in European Union to come up. Okay, Unless you're extremely well funded, you have backing of big, I don't know, funds, and they're able to do it. Okay, that was food security. Now let's go into nuclear, right? EU is actively working to phase out reliance on Russian nuclear fuel. Okay, dependency. Russia state Rosatom holds immense sway nuclear fuels, controlling 46% of global uranium enrichments. I'm sorry. In what world do you live in to think you're going to shut them out and you're going to be like, okay, we're going to be good now, you know? No, it's not possible, my friends. If you don't buy, somebody else will. They're not stupid, okay? They're like, oh, the European, they don't want the Russian nuke. Good for me. I will buy it. I will stockpile all the nuclear fuel I need for a good amount and buy it from Russia. Why would, folks, look at this, okay? Le Monde reported that despite a reduction in share from 67% in 2022 in France to 24% in 2024. So essentially, a fifth of French reactors run on Russian fuel. Russian nuclear fuel, let's say US, what about US, right? Roughly providing 20% of the fuel for commercial reactors. You think you're Europe and European Union, most countries, in at least in the West, I don't know about the East so much, but at least in the West. But I think everybody's having the same problem because if you look at Germany, if you look at, they're having bankruptcies at the highest level since 10 years, some say 15 years, okay? And they're having almost 28,000, 30,000 bankruptcies reported. It's ridiculous, folks. Is because of the high energy costs of doing business in India. And once something closes, it's very difficult to find funds to open it again. Okay. The nature of business is that once something shuts down, it's very difficult to get it back. It's over. Okay. And now you're looking at this, right? Russia supplied nearly 27% of US enrichment services in 2023. Okay. Yet it remains a primary foreign provider. There is no way around it, folks. And you will, again, same thing. If the United States stops buying from them, they will sell it to somebody else. Okay. They will sell it to somebody else. That's the nature of business. Okay. Business moves very fast. Remember in 22 when they first put the first sanctions, the European Union and the Americans, what happened? Literally a day later, there were new setups in Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and everybody who had a common border with the Russians within few months, billions was being rerouted just to Kazakhstan. And even now, Louis Vuitton continues to pay rent in locations in Moscow, so that someday they can go back and open it. Everybody wants to do business in Russia. BMW, Mercedes. There's no way around it because it's a huge population. It's the biggest population in Europe, whether you like it or not. As a country, I'm not talking about, as the European Union. Again, European Union is 30 countries, folks. It's not, oh, hello, we are all one federation. We are not, okay? We are not the United States of Europe. No, we're not. It's not yet a federation. It's not, no. It's just essentially a bureaucratic layer on top of your countries. That's what it is. And look at the dependence. And you'll say, okay, they're not a reliable supplier, but what are you talking about? You're the one who sanctioned them. They're not the one who stopped supplying fuel to you or gas. You're the one who shot yourself in the foot and said, "Oh, we don't want their gas. We do not want their." What are you gonna happen now? What happened to the gas? The Turkish took it. That was Turkish like, okay, we take it. The Chinese like, oh, you have oil, very nice. Oh, the European Union, they do not want to buy it. Give discount, very nice. You like it. I give me discount, so cheap oil. Ha 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 ha. Good for our citizen. That, hmm? And the Indians were okay. We will take it. We will take the oil. And guess what they did? Indian exports of petroleum to the EU. Petroleum exports to European Union have undergone a dramatic transformation. Okay, they sold 14 to 15 billion worth of petroleum products in 2025 alone. Exports are dominated by refined products, particularly diesel and jet fuel. Okay, diesel flow hits an all-time high in September 2025, reaching nearly 10.4 million. So essentially, if you ever got into a war with Russia, that during this last many years, your oil was coming from them. You know that. They would know it was. Oh man, this is a circular, complete nincompoopishness from Europe. I'm sorry to tell you this, but look at this. And what are they doing? They're refining loophole and Russian oil. Indian ramps up imports of discounted Russian, which now accounts for one third of total imports, and they ship it to you. They refine the Russian crude and ship it to you while you were scrambling. Okay, I mean, if this is not one of the biggest acts of self-sabotage done by European Union since the beginning of its time, I don't know what is. This is a complete self-sabotage. You don't understand that. This is completely. You take a loaded revolver, shoot yourself in the foot and the other foot, and now you're looking at the highest costs in the world. They were shipping you piped gas at zero point 0.3, I don't know, what is it, €3 a cubic meter or something, even less. It was super cheap when they shipped it, just put it through the pipe. And now it has to be LNG, has to liquefy, has to come from the United States or Qatar, faraway country. You know, I thought EU liberals were all, green and climate oriented. What happened to, the CO2 because of the LNG? Huh? Gas via pipeline or hundreds of ships having to carry millions of tons of LNG, which is processed, liquefied, and then you have to turn it into a gas again and put it into the natural gas pipelines that feed into your boilers. It is a complete stupidity. I'm sorry to tell you, folks. So, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you continuing this war? First of all, why do you continue to shoot yourself in the foot and say and expect that somehow they will collapse? Okay, they will collapse any day now, any day, any day, as if they're just sitting there waiting to happen. Okay, давай, хорошо, we are dying. Okay, yes, we are having a long time, a tough time selling oil and gas. What can we do? Хорошо, these people are crazy in France. Okay, are they just sitting there doing nothing? Of course not. No, of course not. They're continuing to, bro. These are large, powerful nations with huge diplomatic corps and capable of very good diplomacy. The Russians are masters at this. Okay, as an Indian, I watched this for decades. I was in India way before I came to Belgium. We've seen this when they bought the Su-30 flanker. It was a huge purchase. Initially, it was 40 jets or 28 that landed, and then we tested them, flew them, asked for modifications. They were always friendly. They were always like, okay, you want to do this? Go ahead. Do you want to do this? Go ahead. They were always sure. They will put in their extra costs. They'll be like, oh, you need to pay more money now, that boy. Okay. But you pay the money and it's done. You get yourself, now we have almost close to 300 Su-30 flankers, completely with French avionics, Israeli avionics, a mix of everything, our own Indian stuff. And now it can fire all kinds of weapons. It can fire Israeli weapons, Russian weapons, European weapons. They have always been very diplomatic, very good. They have a very good negotiating team. They're capable. Look, India is going to buy the more S400s. They're considering buying more S400s because, as far as the Indians are concerned, it did a really good job during that skirmish we had with the Pakistanis last year. And so they are not sitting quiet, folks. Let's talk about, okay, Russian nuclear power plants new. Aggressively expand its domestic nuclear capacity, aiming to increase nuclear power share of energy mix roughly 19 to 25% by 2040. So essentially, they too rely. I know France relies a lot. Almost 60% of its energy comes from nuclear, which is the highest, I believe. But Russia is a huge country, a bigger population. Currently, they get roughly 20, not yeah, 19 to 20% of their energy from nuclear. But in the next, they're going to have huge numbers of units. They're building 34 to 38 new reactors, and the plan is there. Construction is underway, and already this, and they were replacing that. What are you doing in Europe? How many nuclear power plants are coming in Europe? There's one coming in UK. Let's say EU. Sweden planning up to five. Planning for new units advanced to be constructed. France, nothing future yet. It's okay. They're trying to build a few. One, two, three, four programs. One in Romania, Slovakia, Hungary. Rosatom plans to be Rosatom. I wonder who that is. They're integral to European and world energy security. There's just no way around it, folks. Okay, these are European projects and they're included in at least the Hungarian one, right? And what about Slovakia? This one, I'm curious about this, right? The Finnish wanted to build one, but they stopped it like morons. They were, oh man, that was such an act of self sabotage. I'm curious who's supplying this one. No, 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 no. Yes, there you go. These are new again. Oh man, this is silly, guys. Guys, okay. They're building what it generated most of. Okay, expected to enter operation. So basically, even Slovakia is building with Russia. They're helping you to build in European Union new nuclear power plants. Let's say other places, total units. Okay, Russian nuclear projects, upcoming international. How many? You see how lazy I am? Yeah, it's beautiful. No, I'm just kidding. It's currently the leading export of nuclear technology. Okay, it's a massive international portfolio. Rosatom has a portfolio of 30 to 40 international power units, various stage of implementation across 10 to 11 countries. 20 to 25 units are currently being built outside Russia. Which other country is doing this in the nuclear sphere? Russia helped India. India, you see, India actively under construction, blah, blah, blah. Active construction sites. Turkey, Egypt, India, Bangladesh, China, Iran. Okay, Iran. Still, where do you think they will go? They're not going anywhere, folks. This money keeps coming in. Yes, they may have people went all across the arm. They lost their minds all over the place when they said, um, you know, uh, January 2026, Russian oil, blah blah blah. Let's see. Okay, let's look at this. This is a Kiev School of Economics. They're biased, so we'll see increase blah 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 to. I'm not going to read this. This is so it's really stupid for Russia for us to again. You see, Russian oil revenue climbs to 11 in January, up 130 million from a year. But people lost their mind because January 2024 and between January 2026 there was a 4 billion drop in oil sales from last year to this year. But the price is lower. But look at the price, oil, Urals, right? Ah, come on. Urals is currently at 55, okay? $55. The price of dipped under the Brent. Okay, but it's still $55. And if they continue to offer some discounts, um, if they continue to offer discounts to India and China, why wouldn't they buy it? Especially if the United States wants to kick off something in Iran, do we expect that the price of oil is going to stay at the way it is? No, of course not. Let's see oil price charts. What the hell is wrong with this? Okay, I think it's my VPN blocking something. Um, okay, so they're coping. Flagship had fallen to 37 a barrel, but people don't understand that prices are cyclical. Okay, oil can go up, oil can go down. Just like it was $35 a barrel during Trump administration 1.0, 2017, I believe, with the lowest oil prices ever recorded. It went down to even $30, but that was international oil price goes ups and down, folks. Don't people, analysts, like, oh, it's over now. Oh, it is only $35. How are they making money? It's dollars. Okay, gotta show their costs are in rubles. And even if the oil exports is not the biggest chunk of their food chain. They have oil, gas, nuclear, fertilizers, grain. It keeps going, folks. Okay. It accounts for a huge amount, but the gas station with nukes is not just a gas station with nukes, and people should be like ashamed of themselves. And they, especially if you call yourself a gas, if you mock them for being a gas station from nuke, you should be ashamed of yourself buying still from them 20% of your fuel in France, in the United States, in India. In India, they don't mind. They have no problem. You should be ashamed of yourself. Look what you do to yourself. It's absolutely insane. Look at the cost of fuel. Look at the cost. The amount of money that is going, the cost of replacing Russian energy in EU. Okay. That's a very, oh my God. Replacing it under the repower plan involves a massive mobilization, close to 300 billion in funds. What are you doing? What are you doing? You first shoot yourself in the foot, and then now you need 300 billion. 300 billion, okay? With a B. Folks, this is not sustainable, okay? You will continue to, I said it in my previous video. You are looking at going broke in European Union. Broke, so broke. Oh man. And not only that, you're increasing the risk of war because you're going after the shadow fleet. Don't, come on, stop it. Stop it. If you're in the European Union, you need to be voted, you need to be absolutely lobbying, and you need to be harassing not harassing, pardon my language. I'm not going to say harassing. I'm going to say you need to be going after your elected representatives and explaining to them that this is absolutely economic suicide. Understand this. The cost is going to go through the roof. Okay? You need Russian gas. You need Russian nuclear fuel. Somebody else will buy it, folks. People are not stupid, okay? And they will sell it back to you.